Welcome to the official safety car for Car of the Year 2026. Another man to interview, another juror to interview. I cannot wait for this one. To be honest, it's one of my favorites. I'm really looking forward to it. His name is Bernie. That's all I know.
Yes, so
I lie. I do know a little bit more about him. But tell the viewers, who is Bernie?
So actually today we're meeting Bernie Hellberg. He's actually one of the longest standing members of the COTI.
I understand Bernie's been around for a long time, man. How long has Bernie actually been around for? I'm going to open the window. It's really hot in here.
Okay, so Bernie has been around, especially in the motoring industry, for a good 25 years now.
That's incredible. 25 years. So what? So he started... When 2001, when I was in grade 1.
Yes.
Oh my word, that's a long time to be writing, man. So he's been writing since I was in grade 1. He's now one of the most, I mean, if you've read motoring articles, chances are you've read an article from Bernie. I'm super excited to meet him, but I know you've got an appointment, you've got a meeting now, right?
Yes.
I've got to drop you off. So I'm going to drop you off. I'm going to go and meet Bernie.
Thank you so much again, my sir.
All right, man. Cheers. Don't forget, the next time you jump in a car, buckle up for Bernie.
Thank you.
All right, cheers.
Cheers.
Bernie, it is so good to see you, man. It's been such a long time. I think before we even started, I said the only time I see you is at launches. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I hope you don't mind cappuccino.
I definitely do not mind a cappuccino.
You see, I did my research on you.
Yes. The internet's an amazing thing.
I'm lying. He actually told me he wants a cappuccino. So maybe just run me through what is a day in the life of a Bernie?
Okay, so there is what people think I do and what I actually do.
Yeah.
What people think I do is sit behind the wheel of a car all day, every day, drive
and
everything.
Have fun. Flat out.
I think that's what many people have in their minds. But what I actually do is I spend most of my time in front of my laptop,
Yeah.
researching, obviously writing, planning content, creating content, everything that the job entails. About 20% of it is driving. The rest,
100%. And I think a lot of people don't understand that, right? Because they see the end product. They don't necessarily see the amount of work that goes into it, because you can't just make an opinion about a car. You can't just have an opinion about a car. There's so much more that goes into it. What are South Africans saying? What is the global market saying? How is that being affected by X, Y, and Z? I think it's more than just the end product.
Yeah. And what is that end product in the context of the South African market? So you've got a car. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a new model. Is it completely new, or is it a new generation of a previous model?
Yeah.
And is it manufactured here? Is it imported? Where is it imported from? What's the economic impact?
Absolutely.
Does it create jobs? Does it not? There's so much to consider around cars besides the driving.
I mean, that's a heavy weight to carry. If we think about your voice, or even any journalist's voice in the industry, right, it plays an important role. We're putting lives in these cars, and they're trusting your opinion. Maybe just run us through, what kind of responsibility comes with your voice in the industry?
Well, firstly, the responsibility to be truthful and factual and accurate, and not let bias, for example, play a role. I mean, I'm human. I like certain cars more than other cars for myself.
Yeah.
If I were to drive car A versus car B, maybe I like car A better than car B. But I've got to be responsible enough to understand my audience and to know exactly what you're saying, is that people will invest time, money, and not risk their lives, but in a sense, yes, also, because every time you get into a vehicle, there is an element of risk. And that's why the responsibility of being truthful and accurate it's quite heavy. You don't, as you ease into this industry like I have over years, it becomes a lot easier because you understand that role a lot better.
COTI's been around for, 40 years now, right? It's incredible.
Very long.
Old Mutual Insure has been doing this now for 4 years. The responsibility sits there with, putting people inside safe cars. And safety has played a huge factor in, the decisions that are made. How important do you think safety is in, the jury process, in this entire process that we call, deciding car of the year?
Look, again, it's something that has evolved over time. Today, we have extremely safe cars. We've got the safest cars that the world has literally ever seen. We have technology that keeps us safe. We have passive and active technology, meaning not just one or the other. There's so much going on in the car to keep us safe. We're really at a very advanced place. But in terms of safety, it goes beyond just the car.
And I was going to ask you that, yeah.
Yeah, it goes beyond just the car. It's the car's technology is almost where the conversation ends in terms of safety. It begins with the individual, with the driver, and not only the driver, it begins with passengers as well.
Yeah.
Because even though you might not be holding the steering wheel, you have an effect on the driver, on the environment, on what is happening in that vehicle to ensure that there is safety.
So Bernie, Old Mutual Insure, as the headline sponsor, as we know it, is not just invested in, the cars that they insure, but also in road safety and the responsibility of, creating these vehicles or getting behind vehicles that are going to be responsible for the livelihoods of many South Africans. Where do you see the role of insurance being played in safety?
Look, so, insurance itself doesn't play an active role in what happens on the road when I'm driving. But what it does do is it cultivates a culture of responsibility. I think that's what we need to call it, a culture of responsibility, because we should be more responsible on the roads as drivers. We should be more responsible in our financial affairs.
So we just spoke about, Coty being around for 40 years, and, insurance and the rest of it. That's a massive legacy. And I know you've been in this industry. How long?
Very long. 25 years this year.
25 years.
The ability to then, again, reacquaint yourself with a car once you've maybe tested it 6 months ago.
Yeah.
It comes along again as a Coty finalist.
Yeah.
You need to familiarize yourself with that car again, I believe. So that, in terms of the test days, that is a crucial aspect of South African Car of the Year
100%.
that you don't see in other competitions. Yeah.
That's incredible. I did not know that.
Yeah.
So, test week is coming up. We just spoke about it, right?
Very exciting.
I think I'm also very excited. I'm not going to lie. And I'm sure a lot of people who are watching, who have followed the content, are also excited to see, what are the finalists? How are they going to perform? That sort of thing. What's the, sort of the one thing people can look forward to on test week?
Look, that is, again, going back to what we discussed earlier.
Yeah.
Cars are exciting. People get emotional about cars. I get emotional about cars. You do. So we all, we know the business side of it and all that stuff that is extremely important. But the excitement comes when you see the car move, when you experience it on a track, as we will be doing, with safety top of mind always. Let me just put that in there.
Yeah.
So I think that action is what all the jurors look forward to, of course, but the public also looks forward to, our readers and our viewers look forward to.
Yeah.
Every time I get behind the wheel of a car, and I've driven, as you have, a lot of cars. But every time I do that, there's something different. Maybe the weather's different, the environment's different, the person with you in the car is different.
100%.
A car gives you a different feeling perhaps on the day.
Yeah.
So there's excitement in that, and that I'm looking forward to very much. But also, in the competition, I've seen it time and time again that you go into the competition with a certain expectation of a car because you've tested it before, and then you get to the day and you get into that car
and it's completely different.
And it's different.
Yeah.
And when you start thinking about it in terms of the questions that we answer from our, from the juror manual that we have to complete, every question we need to consider against that car's segment competitors in the market. I've not experienced Coty where I've not gone, oh, okay, I'm looking at this car slightly differently in this aspect or that aspect, because I have to think about it perhaps a bit more deeply than I did before. So that's also exciting. Not from a driving point of view,
but just
understanding, right? But discovering that car. I love it.
Bernie, thank you so much for coming through. That was an incredible conversation.
Always a pleasure to chat with you. Thanks, man.